Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now.
Hey guys, hey, welcome in, welcome in. How's everybody doing today? It's Saturday, the weekend. You can't beat the weekend. You really can't. So welcome in. How's everybody doing? I have these. I'm actually going to take these bracelets off here in a second as we chit chat, because I meant to do it before I came on, and they're just going to be in the way of like me trying to get the mouse, to work. So it's like a contraption here that I got to get out of. But thank you guys so much for the support. You guys have been amazing. I've been in the chat. I was like in and out. I was eating, and then I was in and out. But I did see that MBS was in here, and she super chatted she super chatted a lot. And so did Willow. So she says, just supporting your channel. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much. Just trying to help her reach her goal. And then says, just showing some love. And then Willow said, for our favorite true crime creator. I appreciate that. And then she said, showing more love. You put so much work and time into these videos, live streams. I appreciate that. And Maga Mama just gifted $4.99 too. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. It helps the channel. It helps the channel. Me and Maury, we are doing good. We had a little date today. So thank you, Asombre. I appreciate that. And welcome in, everybody. I see we got the mods in here tonight. We got our regulars are coming in, and we got some new people. So can't beat that. I love whenever there's new people in the chat. That makes me so excited for things. So if you are new and you're new to the channel, my name is Tanya, or TitaniumBuilt. Nice to meet you. We do talk true crime on this channel every evening, usually about 9:15, 9:35, around that time. So you can literally set your clock to me. If I don't have a thumbnail up, just come over here. I'll be here. I'll be here every night. So if that's something that you're into and you do like true crime, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Right now, we've been really digging into Idaho 4 because we started digging into it right before trial started. Well, not right before, but a little bit before trial started. We got back into the case kind of hardcore because we were trying to get prepped for a trial and all that. And then, of course, there was no trial. So now we have these documents that have come out, and that's what we're kind of looking at now. So, hey, Brandy Wine. Hey, girl. Hey, Felicia. Welcome in. And I do have some notes I might read. I wrote some notes and then I printed out some because it's easier for my brain to do that. But before we get started all the way, let me see here. Tomorrow is going to be our members only giveaway. And each month we do a giveaway. We do like a gift card, and I just like a Visa gift. I do like a virtual gift card. And we base it off of how many members we have for that month. And then we do 10% of, the members that we have. So if you'd like to become a member, I will link the membership link in the chat. I'll do that actually right now, because if I don't, I'll forget. I don't know why I got a million and so banners in here. That's how it rolls. That's how we roll on the live stream. So there's that, and I'll pin it at the top. If you'd like to become a member, we'd love to have you. We won't force you. But we would love to have you. Also on Patreon, if you're on our Patreon, it will be flowing through Nightbot. So if you want to become part of our Patreon, we'd love to have you there too. I'm going to put the third episode of the docuseries for Gilgo Beach over there, either this evening or tomorrow. I have it downloading right now. So also, if you guys don't know, in the chat, it'll be through Nightbot. I own a women's boutique. So if you'd like to check that out, more than welcome to do that. So now let's go ahead and get onto the live. So I appreciate you guys being here, especially for the documents that we're going to read. Like some of the documents that we read through are like, some of them are like, wow, that's like really like that's new news. But then other ones are kind of like, oh, that's just them like switching something out. But I don't want to really skip over too many of the documents because I want to give you guys the full story of what happened. So tonight we're going to go over some like interviews that I found. Because we're just kind of going in order. And I know towards the end, it gets really juicy. It gets like, that's when he's like in jail and he's talking, and the Dateline episode and all that. And that's going to be really good. But these ones are good too. But they're just, I know that there's some out there that like people are talking about. And I'm like, oh, like I'm trying not to listen to stuff. I'm trying not to listen to stuff. I'm trying to like keep on track with you guys. So, I meant to share my screen and then I just unshared it. Let's see here. So we'll go ahead and. So, if you have an iPhone, MBS, what you have to do, it's so weird. I don't know why they do this. It's because it's Google. We're operated by Google. You have to go through Safari on your iPhone. Go to Safari, and then you go to YouTube, and then you go to my channel through the Safari app instead of the YouTube app, if that makes sense. It's really weird. It's really, really, really weird. We missed you, Magamama. We missed you. We do have a lot of documents to go through, and I do have that spreadsheet that I showed you guys last night. So once we're done with all the documents, if we need to go back and like check on one, we'll know exactly where they are, which is exciting. That's very exciting. Body Move and put it together. I'll actually show it to you guys real quick. This one here, it literally has all of the documents. I forgot about this as I'm going through the documents tonight. But it has like all of them, and it has like the type of document, the link to the document, keywords, the date of the report, the incident date, the author, like whoever like authored the report, the narrative, and then there's notes. Like they were not messing around. She put that on her, I think it was on her YouTube or her TikTok. Or Twitter. I can't remember, but I was like, that's exciting. This one is what I want to share. I'm like, I'm going to need that. Tempest, I heard you got you said you got a new membership. I'm trying to get back up. What were you saying? What I miss? The Idaho 4 video? The one that like the reenactment? I could do that if you guys want to see that first. Let's see, we'll go to Ask Gets. Because the house, okay, so do you guys remember, the house that we used to look at, right? That you could walk through and it had like all the links and everything. It was like through like Hula. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But when you go to that link now, it has like this like little box and it's like has a like a lock on it and it's like you can't go in there. So I was like, okay, I'll try it through Safari because I'm on Chrome and still no, the lock was there. So I'm like, you're not going to keep that up there? I need that. Like, I need that house. I really need it. Thank you, Sherry, so much for the super sticker. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Yeah, and if you guys don't mind, hit the like button. That's a free thing to do. I love that. I love the like button. Okay, so yeah, if you guys haven't seen Asget's video, which I think that you guys have over half a million. Oh my gosh, girl, get it, girl. She has like a bunch of reenactments on here too. Is that the one you're talking about, Tempest? Oh, okay. I'll play it at the end of the live. Okay. I thought you meant this one, this reenactment one, but I will play this for you guys before we get started so you can kind of see the inside layout of the house if you're not familiar with it. Because I know that I if you're coming in like, kind of newer, you might not be familiar with the house. So if you are familiar with it, you are. If you're not, this will be good for you. Um, I'll go ahead and put it towards where she starts to talk though about the actual timeline.
In this illustration, we're going to start at 3:30 a.m.
It's kind of
At
quiet.
this time, everyone is asleep except for Xana. Looking inside the home, we can see where everybody was. Starting at the 3rd floor, we can see where Maddie and Kaylee were sleeping. Maddie was sleeping on the edge of the bed, while Kaylee was sleeping near the wall. As we go out and drop down to the 2nd floor, we can see Dylan's room directly under Maddie's room. Continuing across the living room onto the other side of the home, we see Xana's room. She's sitting in bed scrolling on her phone while Ethan sleeps next to her. Minutes ago, she had just finished ordering DoorDash and has all the lights on while she waits. The last roommate to mention is Beth, whose room is on the 1st floor, directly below the living room. As most of them all sleep, Koberger pulls into the neighborhood for the first time this night at precisely 3:30 a.m. We know this due to a home security camera that captures the intersection and records the coming and going of anybody that enters that neighborhood. As we continue, Koberger drives past the home and notices that all the lights on the 2nd floor are still on. He drives on and loops around the apartment complex building. Because of the home security timestamp, we're able to know how long it took to drive this path. On his first pass, it took him 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and this is him leaving on the first pass. Now let's look at his next 2 passes and record the times. This is pass 2 of him entering and leaving. And now this is pass 3 of him entering and leaving. When we do the math, we can see how long he took each pass. The last 2 passes were normal without any stopping, but on his first pass, he took an additional 42 seconds to creep by the house or even stop for a time to stare into the windows with the lights on. All this information has been coming from camera A, but there is a second camera located behind the apartment complex building, and we're going to call that camera B located here. This camera allows us to see how long it took to get from point A to point B, and between the 3 security cameras' data, it took between 35 and 37 seconds. What this means is you didn't stop or park somewhere or go into a different direction. He simply drove straight from point A to point B at regular speed. These times help us understand the DoorDash delivery window. According to court documents, 2 times are noted. One is 3:59 a.m. and the other is 4 a.m. Bringing back our passage chart, we can see that the DoorDash time of 3:59 happens after Kohberger has left the neighborhood and before he returns for his last pass at 4:04. It is possible that the DoorDash driver saw Kohberger as he was parking his car, because a timestamp of 3:59 could be reflected when he took the photo of the food at the front door instead of the time he arrived. So it is possible he witnessed Kohberger staring at the windows as he drove by. Continuing, as the driver leaves, Xana turns off all the lights, sits on her bed, and scrolls on her phone as she eats her food. A few minutes later, Kohberger enters the neighborhood for the last time. But this time, as he drives by the home, he sees all the lights are off. At the camera B location, he turns around to head back to the residence as shown in this video.
Son of a gun, I was muted that time, Tom.
When
I
he
s-
returns to the front of the house,
What did I even say? Oh, it wasn't important. Oh, it was. Oh, I said that when Dylan and Bethany went to bed. Sorry about that. I thought I wasn't muted. When they went to bed, they both said that the lights were on. So I don't know if it was like really bright in there or if it was just like a few lights that were on. But we did read that the like when they went to bed that there was lights on. So that to me is just weird that he would walk in with the light, like those big windows.
he does something unusual, so much so that it's noted in the arrest affidavit. On page 6, it states, when the suspect vehicle 1 is in front of Kings Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. It
Didn't
goes
even
on to say that he
drive.
continued onto the intersection where he did a 3-point turn.
Where's the cop at right now when he needs to get pulled over for driving like this?
This 3-point turn was captured on camera A, which has a timestamp of 4:06. He appears to be calm and not overly anxious with his driving. As he heads back in the direction of the residence, he takes one last look at the windows to make sure all the lights are off. As he begins to drive around the end of the apartment complex, camera B records the time of 4:07. Fast forwarding a little bit, Kohberger drives to the back parking lot away from other residences. He takes a few minutes looking around and sees that nobody is out and that all is quiet. He eventually grabs his things, gets out of the vehicle, and begins walking to the back of the home. At approximately 4:13 a.m., he begins to make entry. As he steps in, he takes a minute to make sure everything is quiet and that nobody is truly up. He walks to the entrance of the living room and looks around. He continues to be cautious and stands there listening. Feeling confident, he continues upstairs. As he makes his way to Maddie's room, the time is about 4:14. Meanwhile, 2 minutes later, Xana takes a break from TikTok and walks into the kitchen. Evidence shows her activity on the app stopped at 4:16. As she enters the kitchen, she's a little shocked to see the sliding glass door wide open. And at the same time, she hears a serious commotion going on upstairs. Hey everyone, I don't usually ask, but I'm building a small production company to bring you more exciting stories, and I'd love your support.
Here, let me put her.
If you'd like to
Why
help
is
out,
everything in
get
here?
some cool perks, or own the 3D model file I created for this animation, please send me a DM and then drop a hashtag #AsGet in the comments so I know to look for your messages. Your support truly means the world to me. Thank you. Picking up where we
My
left off,
description too.
a source revealed that Santa's phone recorded steps and elevation change, which is how it's known she went to the kitchen and the 3rd floor. When she walked up to Maddie's doorway, she interrupted Kohberger, who had just finished an intense battle with Kaylee, who fought back violently. After a second or two, he notices her, and then she turns away. Being dark, Xana didn't realize what she was seeing other than a shadowy figure. Out of fear, she quickly leaves. A single source, unaffiliated with the media, claims Kohberger injured Xana on the third-floor hallway, leaving evidence of blood there. But this single source of information has not been validated by any more sources. Continuing, Kohberger, without thinking, pursues her all the way to her room, not realizing he had dropped the sheath of his knife. When he gets to the room, he attacks Xana, and the time is precisely 4:17:30. We know this because of camera A captured the sound of screaming and the thud. After attacking Xana, Kohberger focuses his attention on Ethan and attacks him while he slept. Afterwards, Kohberger must have sat down in a chair according to a report, which found blood smears on Xana's chair, perhaps from the exhaustion of what he had just done. This source also says that blood from the 2 roommates upstairs were found in Xana's room, showing that it was one person moving from one room to another. Kohberger sitting down was for less than 30 seconds. As he gets up to leave, Dylan, hearing the commotion from Xana's room, gets up out of bed and goes to her door to look out into the hallway. She freezes and sees Kohberger as he walks by and exits through the kitchen. She immediately closes and locks her door and retreats to her bed. Within 20 seconds of the encounter, she's calling and texting her roommates, but no one is responding. It takes Kohberger a minute and a half to get to his vehicle after the encounter with Dylan. But once in his car, he flees the scene at a high rate of speed and exits the neighborhood at 4:20. Dylan continues trying to reach someone in the house. And after 3 minutes of trying, Bethany wakes up and responds to the calls. They converse for 3 minutes, and then Beth convinces Dylan to come downstairs. The time is now 4:26 a.m. Cautiously, Dylan walks into the hallway and through the living room. As she approaches the staircase, she can see into Xana's room and sees her laying on the floor. She then runs quickly downstairs to Beth's room, where they lock the door and for several hours continuously try contacting the other roommates. Back to when Kohberger left the neighborhood, he drove a particular route that would exit.
Now, technically, that's just him going home, but technically, I mean, if I was Dylan, I'd probably run down to Bethany's room too. She's the one with the lock with the code. Seems like it's a pretty good lock, right? Like an industrial lock. I mean, maybe she thought she would be safer in there. I don't know. It's sad. Let me put the link for this video in the chat one more time. Go over and support Asget. She does really good videos. She's super kind. And she does them on she did them on Murdoch. She did it off of the Sonia Massey case, the woman that got shot by the cop. She's really she's good at what she does. So I wanted to show you guys this before we get started with the documents. I couldn't believe this. You guys know that happy face killer, right? Keith Jefferson. He's always doing the mostest, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is he the one that was talking with Rex Heuermann? And they were talking about bread and butter and bread. One of them gets bread at their jail and the other one, or butter, and the other one doesn't get butter with their bread. And they're like, oh, I would love me some butter with my biscuits. I think it was him and Keith, right? Okay. Or yeah, Jefferson. Okay. Well, he's got a new target now. He just wants to be relevant. Like the dude just wants to be relevant. He's like, what do I got to do around here for someone just to hear me, right? So he wants to be cellmates with Brian Kohberger. He says the Kohberger would be safer at his maximum security prison in Oregon than any other facility due to the high-profile nature of the case. In the general population, he will be singled out right away to be made a target for those who see him as weak for the crimes of that kind of murder. Jefferson wrote in a letter to Keith Rovere, a former prison minister, that was shared with Fox News Digital. Most likely, Idaho will put him in protective custody like Jeffrey Dahmer, but we all know how that ended. Kohberger was convicted of stabbing Madison Mogen, Kayla Gonzalez, Xana Coronado, and Ethan Chapin. And when I say his name, I meant to say actually, 163214. Man, I even hashtagged that tonight. I'm going to get that hashtag started. So hold on one second, guys. I just got to grab something off this card. I was not prepared. Well, I was prepared, but just not all the way. Okay. So we're going to read some documents. I don't think that they're going to send him to Oregon and let him hang out with Jesperson or whatever, however you pronounce his last name. I don't think he's getting a new celly, but he thinks he might. I mean, I think he even did he try this with BTK? I'm not sure. I think he's tried it with everybody. It's just weird. So let's go up here and share this tab. So we're going to read some documents. It's going to be awesome. Get you something to drink, put your feet up, all the things. And I might have to put my glasses on soon. But I was going to go over some of the stuff that we already do know. So new information has been revealed recently in the court documents that were released following Kohberger's sentencing on July 23rd. So the documents released were from Moscow PD. The other ones, they're going to be released in due time, I'm sure. But I'm going to send in a FOIA. I'm going to FOIA everything tomorrow, so it's there Monday morning. That way, Monroe, Latah County, any other counties that I need to, Pullman, all of them, we need to pull records from them. So whoever has records, I want video, I want photographs. I know that the video and the photographs are probably going to cost money. I'm not sure how much they're going to cost. I hope they don't charge everyone an arm and a leg, but we'll get them. We'll make sure that we get them. But the new stuff that we did learn in these documents so far, it just described, the gruesome nature of the crimes, noting, particularly that Xana body had been found with over 50 stab wounds, many of them defensive. So that indicates, to me that she was in a struggle. She was in a fight for her life. Kaylee Gonzalez had blunt force asphyxial injuries and sharp force injuries, while Madison and Ethan, they died from sharp force injuries. The surviving roommate, Dylan, reported hearing a scream she believed came from Gonzalez and saw a masked figure in black, walking through the home, leaving out the slider door. Bethany was another, Bethany Funk was another surviving roommate. She reported seeing an unknown man staring at Gonzalez from above their house about a month before the murders, suggesting maybe a possible person surveilling them. And even tonight you'll hear, I believe in these documents, that they heard some stuff when they let Murphy out, and they were like scared because Murphy was acting really strange one night. And then there's just, I think that's really all that was really new. I mean, there's more stuff that's new, but we'll go through it here later so we can get on these documents. But they did do, the documents included like search warrants, lab reports, witness interviews, which we're going to go over tonight. The cell tower, we're going to go over tonight. Body cam logs, which we'll go over tonight in a couple days also. Yeah, there's just so much. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start reading. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm getting with it. So this is from Dustin Blaker, and this was on 1/11 and 23. And it says, trip to Boise with evidence retrieval of property from Dylan Mortensen. So it says here, I don't know if I needed to read this, but we will. On January 6th, 2023, so after Kohberger's been arrested, at around 7:10 hours, I retrieved evidence from MPD Evidence Tech, and it's redacted. I signed for the items and transported them to the Idaho State Police Forensic Lab in Mandarin, Idaho. Referred to Evidence Tech. Records for that specific item were transported. Once I arrived in Mandarin, I transferred the items from MPD to the ISP intake receptionist. Sorry, all items were signed for in chain of custody. So it says I was then given several items for the lab. The lab had tested and were able to return to MPD for storage. I signed for all items and completed the chain of custody paperwork on the bags. So that's when, okay, so prior to going back to Moscow, he stopped at Dylan Mortensen's residence in Boise to retrieve the personal items which had been released to her, I think it was her stepmom, earlier in the week by accident. It wasn't by accident. And they gave her the items because they thought they could. And then Bill Thompson called and was like, hey, no, that's like part of a crime scene. We need that back. Like, you know what I mean? So they had to get the items back. They weren't even like that. I mean, it was like some jewelry, pair of shoes, a jacket. It wasn't like a whole lot of stuff. It says, One item of note is as the items were being loaded into the vehicle, I was driving a Ford Fusion. We were unable to get everything into the vehicle. We were able to get everything into the vehicle except a small table. Okay. We attempted several times to get the table into the vehicle, but it was not going to fit. I think this is her stepmom stated they did not care if the table was returned, so she had her husband break the table and place it in the vehicle. I don't think they wanted the table back broken. I don't think Bill Thompson said, hey, go get me that stuff back and then break it before you bring it back. I mean, some of this stuff is like out of this world. I'm not going to lie. Like some of these reports are like, I don't know. You think they'd be crossing their T's and dotting every I's. And I don't, some of these stuff, like some of these records don't reflect that. I'm not going to lie. This one's from Dustin Blaker, same date. And it says assisted defense team with going through items at the police department and city shop. So this is when Ann Taylor, coming in hot. She was halt on the cleanup, halt on the cleanup. And I want to see the personal items, like, the items that, you guys are going to test or I can test, for evidence. So on January 10th at around 13:15 hours, I met with Ann Taylor and her team at the Moscow Police Department. Taylor's the defense attorney for Brian Koberger. Taylor had arranged to go through the garbage sent to us from Pennsylvania by FBI investigators, items from Madison's room and Xana's room, 2 vehicles belonging to Ethan Chapin, and personal items belonging to Ethan, Dylan and Bethany. So she wanted to look at, just the evidence, pretty much, the crime scene. After looking at the garbage, Taylor identified several items she felt we could discard since they contained perishable goods and they had started to spoil. We placed these items on a shelf located in the northeast corner of the storage garage at the police department. You're going to put like rotten fruit and stuff up on a shelf? Oh, come on, guys. Taylor also identified several items she wanted us to keep until she saw reports of these items. Taylor was good with where we were keeping the mattresses, bed frames, nightstand, shelf, and sheets from Madison and Xana's room. I escorted Taylor and her team to the city shop, and they went through personal items that were removed from 1122 King Road weeks earlier. These items belonged to Bethany, Dylan, and Ethan. When Taylor was done, she identified several items she wanted MPD to hold, and she was going to request an order from the judge to take these items and have them tested. These items were placed in cardboard boxes and placed away from the other items so they could not accidentally be released. Taylor and her team looked at both vehicles while at the shop. Wonder why just his cars? Like just Ethan's, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird. Taylor stated she would contact Bill Thompson's office and would advise him when she felt items could be released. Oh, so she's in charge now. Okay. You heard the lady. She's like, I'm in charge. Oh, really? I was looking at the chat. Okay. That's you're right. Yeah. Yeah. They're on the small towns. Yep. Oh, Stout. Oh gosh. Oh man, that was a trial from hell. James Fry. This one's from James Fry. I don't know why. Okay, so let's see. Oh, okay. I wanted to point this out because everyone was saying that they were going in the house without booties and protective gear on. And so I'm just going to comment this, but it just said that they were packing up personal belongings from Xana and Ethan's room and personal belongings from Madison's room. And it says Lieutenant Mooney and I wore protective gloves and shoe booties, which were changed out after completion of Xana's room prior to going into Madison's room. So they were changing out their stuff. They were doing what they were supposed to be. I don't think we need to read the rest of that one. We have so many. I've got like, my computer will probably shut down. I'm just kidding. It shouldn't. No, it's good. So this one they redacted the name I don't know why they did that. But it says command staff and Detective Vargas, as well as Mike Mooney of the Idaho State Police. They went to the King Road house. In the entry of the residence, I put on PPEs to include shoe covers and black latex gloves. My activities inside the residence included placed the personal belongings of Bethany Funk's bedroom into boxes. This bedroom is located on the first floor, east side. Captain Roger Lanier and Detective Vargas assisted with this task. Placed the personal belongings of Dylan Mortenson's bedroom into boxes. This bedroom is located on the second floor, east side. Detective Vargas assisted with this task. Placed the items located on the first floor, west side bedroom into boxes and or stacked by the door to be loaded. Captain Lanier and Detective Vargas assisted with this task. After packing the bedrooms, I moved taped boxes from the second floor living area to the top of the stairway to be passed down the stairs and loaded into the U-Haul truck. Okay. After completion of these tasks, I removed my gloves and shoe covers and left the residence. After riding with Captain Barrett and Detective Vargas to the city's shop secured garage, I helped unload items from the truck and stack the boxes according to the names on the boxes. And we saw that when they were walking out, one of the boxes said Beth on it. I do remember seeing that. I just see Ashley's comment. What is up with you and Beth? Lord help. Lord honey help. Okay. Let's see. Next one. So this is Mogan's text messages released. This is Tyson Barrett. Okay, so it says here, I don't think that we really need to read this, but it just says they asked if there was a way to ensure that the personal messages and photos shared between her and Madison would not get deleted or lost off Madison's phone. I told her I would check with our forensic detective, Carol Laramie. So her mom asked. She didn't want anything to, she wanted to make sure all of the pictures and stuff would stay on her phone. Oh. I talked with Detective Mowry about saving the messages and photos on Madison's phone and were between her and her mom, I think. Detective Mowry said he could save the information separately on a disk. He then suggested providing the disk to Laramie. That's sweet. He's like, I got her. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I got this. He put them all on, like, you know, another disk to give to her. I think that's sweet. I think that's sweet. And it says, I spoke with the Latah County prosecutor and he said I could release the disc to Laramie. That's what it says there, redacted. I mailed the disc to Laramie on 12/20. Oh, Laramie contacted me and said she received it. I wonder when she received it. I bet you she received like right around Christmas. That's so sweet. You know what I mean? What are you guys eating? You guys are eating some good food. I had tacos tonight. We got poor people food over here. We're talking about steak, pasta, penne pasta. I want some. Well, I thought that's what Vincent was making last night. He wasn't. He was not making pasta. He was making tofu. It smelled so good. I was like, what are you doing? So this is the phone interview, and I don't know who these people are. I don't think there's a few people like their names I don't know. Why does this seem like it's like Emily Alant? But I'm not sure, so I don't want to say that. Oh, thank you, Ladybug. I appreciate that. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. She said thank you for keeping us updated on the case. Thank you, Tanya. She said, Tanya, thank you. Okay. So we're just gonna say redacted, but I'm gonna try not to say it too much. Yeah, the tacos were really good. They were really good. We had Bibi Bop earlier today too, so we went out to eat. So on 118, I spoke to Redacted, referenced a suspicious occurrence she and Redacted remembered at I'm going to say King Road. I called Redacted and asked her what she remembered. She told me she came to Moscow to celebrate her friend's birthday on, it's redacted, but 2022. Kaylee Gonzalez had planned a party for that girl at the King Road residence that evening. Redacted stated several people, to include Gonzalez and Redacted, were on the back patio during the party. Gonzalez's dog Murphy was also present. She stated Murphy ran up into the bushes behind the house on several occasions and would not return when called. She stated they called Murphy numerous times before he would come back. She told me the group eventually went inside and shut the door. This was the only occurrence Redacted was present for, but told me Redacted remembered more similar occasions. And I thought that you could, maybe not, maybe that's not where you, but wasn't there like a path back there that Brian Enton went on? Like, I thought that there was like a path. So that would make sense if there's a path, right? I don't know. So they went in. So it scared them enough to where they went inside. The dog was acting a little crazy. I don't know. Maybe they were scaredy cat girls, though. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you're young. You think everything's kind of like, you know what I mean? Everything is like sus. But I called Redacted on 1/19/23, referenced these occurrence. She also related the occasion on her birthday and added it was unlike Murphy to not immediately return home when called, which is the reason why she and Gonzalez were concerned about someone being behind the house when Murphy would behave in this manner. She told me about another occasion on 10/29/22, during which she was at the King Road house for a Halloween party. She told me Mogan, Gonzalez, Coronado, and Chapin were all present at the party. During the party, she stated the group gathered on the back patio once again, and Murphy began to run into the wood line behind the house and not come back. She told me they heard noises too. She described these noises as similar to what it would sound like if someone was moving through the woods on foot. This occasion took place midday, and they did not see anyone behind the house. However, Murphy's behavior and the noises caused them to go inside and close the door. I don't know. MBS, I scare the crap out of myself. If it's dark or something and I think it's something spooky, I can't get it out of my mind. I'm one of those people. I'm a big scaredy cat at heart. So I really am. The last occasion that she remembered took place approximately 2 weeks prior to the homicides. She was unsure of the date. She stated Murphy displayed similar behavior of running into the woods and not coming back when called. Redacted also recalled an occurrence during this time frame, exact date unknown, wherein she and Gonzalez returned to the King Road house and found the rear sliding door standing open, and Murphy was missing. Redacted stated they had to go out and look for Murphy after they found the door open. I asked her if it was common for people who didn't live at King Road to walk in when no one was home. She stated it was not uncommon and added members of Redacted and several friends of the females who lived there would come and go at will. Okay. That's crazy to me. See, that's like when I first moved out of my parents' house, I moved in with someone. She was a good friend at the time. And it was like that. It was like a revolving door for her friends. And I had to work and stuff. I'm like, girl, I got to work. Y'all are crazy. Being up at till 4 a.m. every night. And you know what I mean? Just anybody would be walking in. Like, who are you? I'm in the kitchen, making a salad. And I look up and I'm like, who are you people? Do I know you? I'm on the 4th floor. What's going on? So this one's by Danny Vargas. And on this one, it says on November 20th, 2022, multiple friends and family of the victims gathered in Moscow, organized into several groups, and canvassed several areas in Moscow for possible evidence. I don't know why no one got that on camera. I was contacted by several people from the groups when they located something of interest. I met with the groups and photographed and collected the following items. A clear food service grade plastic glove located at the top of the hillside to the west of the walking path in between Nez Perez and the U of I administration building. Well, that's kind of down the road. Just down from where this plastic glove was located was a large beige metal generator box. I don't know how to say that. There was a plastic bag inside of the box, which looked like it had white grease rags inside of it. I photographed this item and did not collect it. So why did you photograph if you're not going to collect it? Because you only have a photograph of it. If that's something of like key value and they're like, oh my gosh, look at that picture. We need this. Did you get it? No, you left it there. I don't know. I would take everything and anything. Everything and anything would be in my car. A light pink/beige pair of women's underwear, Warner's brand. This was located in a juniper shrub by the Shattuck Amphitheater in the Charles Houston Shattuck Arbitrarium. Well, they probably just were, someone just probably lost their underwear. Did you collect that? A black winter glove, one size fits all. This item was located near the steps which led from Memorial Gym parking lot 39 up to the tennis courts. So then they just transported the items to MPD and stored them. It says one group located what they believed to be blood spots on several rocks in the Arbitrarium and Botanical Garden near the gathering place on the north side near the kiosk. They were not blood. One group located what they believed to be blood on stairs at Building 5 at the Grove Apartments. They determined it was not blood. The photos I took were copied to a DVD and booked into MPD evidence. Okay. We'll see about we can get those. Because they said just, send in a thing if we wanted to get more than just these documents. So apparently they probably have a lot more. I'm assuming they have a lot of video and photos. So I'm trying to find one of these. One of these is really good. So Tyson Barrett wrote the next one. Let me see. Okay, this is the one. Okay, this isn't the one I was looking for, but this is what I'm going to read. So on 11/13/2022, at around 1200 hours, I received a phone call from Sergeant Gunderson informing me his team responded to a call at 1122 King Road where they found 4 deceased college-age individuals inside the residence. He said it was apparent they had all been murdered. Sergeant Gunderson said they did not know the location or identity of the suspect. Sergeant Gunderson said his team had cleared the residence and secured the scene. He said they had identified a group of college-age individuals outside the residence and had started interviewing them. I called Chief Fry, Captain Lanier, and Captain Dallinger to let them know about the homicide. I called Detective Sergeant Lawrence, told him about the homicide, and asked him to call the detectives. Sergeant Lawrence said he would call in Sergeant Blaker and Corporal Payne to assist as well because they were slated to rotate into detectives soon. Sergeant Lawrence said he was also calling the Idaho State Police to ask Region 2 detectives to process the crime scene. I called, I don't know, I think that's Dean Eccles, but I don't know. Yeah, it is. U of I Dean of Students and redacted with U of I Office of Public Safety and Security to inform them of the homicides because the residence was near the U of I campus and the victims appeared to be college students. When I arrived on scene, I met with Sergeant Gunderson and Sergeant Lawrence on the street in front of the residence. We briefly discussed the scene and I was given the names of the 4 individuals who were killed: Ethan Chapin, Sandra Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez. I was also told 2 of the witnesses outside, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, were roommates and were apparently inside the residence when the incident occurred. Sergeant Gunderson told me a dog was taken out of Kaylee Gonzalez's room and transported to the Humane Society for safekeeping. He told me it didn't appear the dog had gone into the rooms where the murders were committed because it didn't have any visible blood on its body. Thank goodness. But this, I don't know if it's this one, but there's one that's really sad, like about Murphy. Makes me so sad. It says, I contacted the U of I Dean, gave him the victims' names and asked if he could verify if they were students. He contacted me later and confirmed all 4 were students, but didn't have any emergency contact information for them other than their permanent addresses. At 1304, the University of Idaho sent out a vandal alert via text message regarding the homicide. At about 1330 hours, we moved the witness, who I believed were students, that patrolled identified on King Road to the Moscow Police Department training room. I met with Sergeant Lawrence, Sergeant Blaker, Corporal Payne, and Detective Murray and asked them to start interviewing each person. And those would be the kids that were like sitting by the trash can, you know, all huddled together with the white blankets. So I also met with redacted U of I Associate Dean of Students at the police department. I talked to her earlier about having the students come to the police department to be interviewed. A redacted had an assistant with her, and they were there to comfort the students and be a resource if necessary. While I was in the training room, I was told 2 of the witnesses were Ethan Chapin's, must be siblings, Maisie and Hunter. Did you hear that? Dang, it's thundering. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry about that. They told me their parents had been informed of Ethan's death and they were on their way to Moscow. See, I don't know if I'd be like, just get to Moscow and I'll tell you when you get here. You know what I mean? Like one of those. I don't think I would be able to tell them on the phone. I asked Sergeant Lawrence to arrange death notifications for Kayla Gonzalez and Madison Mogan's parents. He later informed me a Kootenai, am I saying that right now? Kootenai? Kootenai deputy went to the Gonzalez's home to notify them of Kaylee's death, and they had already been made aware. Captain Dallinger told me he met Xana Kernodle's father, Jeffrey Onsein. Captain Dallinger said he asked Jeff to meet him at the police department where he informed him of Xana's death. You know, imagine pulling up and they're like, can you meet us at the police station? Like, I don't know. I just automatically, you just know. Sergeant Lawrence said a Coeur d'Alene officer went to, I believe, that's Scott and Karen Laramie's house to notify them of Madison Mogan's death. Karen is Madison's mother. I think that's what it says. Sergeant Lawrence was informed that the Laramies had been informed they were already on their way to Moscow. When the Laramies arrived at the police department, I did the death notification as Sergeant Lawrence to interview them. At around 14:15, I met with the president, Scott, I think it's Scott Green, right? And his staff in his office on campus. I told them about the homicide and that the suspect's location and identity remained unknown. I returned to the police station and is that Jack DeCore? Yeah, Jack DeCore approached me asking if I could release the dog Murphy to him. He said he and Kayla Gonzalez both owned the dog. At that point, I was busy working with detectives and administration and didn't release the dog. I'd be like, I want my dog. I need my dog. Hey, Stormy. Welcome in. It's raining bad here. Man. I talked to Corporal Payne, who had interviewed Jack DeCore. He said DeCore had been in a relationship with Kayla Gonzalez, indicating they broke up a few months ago. Corporal Payne said DeCore told him he and Gonzalez remained friends after the breakup. I asked about the dog that had been removed from the residence and taken to the animal shelter. Corporal Payne said DeCore told him that he and Kaylee both owned the dog. Thank you, ALR. That's so sweet of you. She said, hello, Miss Tanya Modge Chatters. I'm so late, but I'm going back to the beginning, watching on 2X to try to catch up. Still trying to gift memberships, but can't seem to do it on my iPad. Oh, thank you so much. When you get to this point up in the live, I think you just have to go through the Safari app. For some reason, I hate Apple stuff, but that's all I have. I love Apple stuff. Thank you so much for the $19.99. That's so sweet of you. Thank you guys. You guys have been really kind. You guys are always really kind, though. I do have the best chat. I do have the best chat on YouTube. So he wants the dog, which is understandable. Later that afternoon, DeCore approached me again and asked if he could release the dog if I could release the dog to him. Oh. And then, okay, I called Captain Lanier, who was with Sergeant Gunderson outside 1122 King Road. Captain Lanier confirmed with Sergeant Gunderson that they understood DeCore co-owned the dog and the dog was taken to the animal shelter for safekeeping. That makes me so freaking sad. Can you imagine being little Murphy? Like you saw, you heard just whatever you heard. I mean, sheer panic, right? And then the cops come in, like these guys with these uniform people, and like you're used to these girls that are just like lovable, and they pick you up and they put you in like a cage or something or in the back of a car and they take you to the pound. Oh gosh, little Murphy. because I read this and it gets sad. But it says not. It doesn't get sad yet. But it says I agreed to release Murphy because it was my understanding he had only taken the dog into custody for safekeeping, and he was the owner. So it might be like on the next one that they talk about Murphy. But they talk about how they had to get him from, like, coax him from underneath the desk, like he was so scared. That makes me so sad. Oh man, it's raining here. It's raining bad. Not like bad anymore. I think it's done. It's like a little summer rain there. So this is Sergeant Gunderson. This is detailed information about Kaylee Gonzalez's dog. Initial response. So at approximately, or on 11/13/2022 at approximately 12:05 hours, I arrived at the King Road residence. Referenced an unconscious subject. It was quickly determined the scene was likely a quadruple homicide based on our observations. When I arrived on the 3rd floor to assess the scene, I noticed a medium-sized curly-haired tan dog on the bed inside the west 3rd floor bedroom, later identified as Kaylee Gonzalez's room. The dog appeared timid/scared and didn't react to our presence. Due to the chaos surrounding the scene, my initial concern was preserving the scene. As part of that process, I asked one of the officers to shut the door so the dog did not attempt to jump on the bed with any of the victims. After the area was cordoned off and the area was secure, Captain or Corporal Snyder began taking photos of the scene. At some point prior to this process, the dog moved from the bed to under the desk in Kaylee's room. After photos were completed, I asked LCSO Deputy Olson to respond and assist by taking the dog to the Humane Society of the Palouse for safekeeping. I collected the dog from under the desk. The dog was timid and took some coaxing to move from under the desk. And then he took it to the pound, but did not appear to have any obvious injuries or stains on its body or paws. If it did not have any stains or injuries on its body or paws, that dog would be like hanging out with me if I didn't have to be in the house. Whoever's not in the house, you're hanging with Murphy. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't do that to him. It says, due to the amount of blood inside the bedrooms where the victims were located and the lack of blood on or around the dog, I don't believe the dog was on or around the victims. I walked the dog to the front door where Officer Warner was stationed and asked him to hold onto the dog until Detective, I think, Olson arrived. So then Olson arrived. I walked the dog. I don't know why they have to put this, from Warner to Olson, who was standing in the street. They transported the dog to the Humane Society, and they asked them to write an intake sheet for the Humane Society to not release the dog to anyone unless MPD gave approval first. Could you imagine if someone came and was like, I want to adopt this dog, and someone adopted it out not realizing? Okay. That'd be crazy. Wow. So many documents. Okay. Lawrence Mowry. On November 19th, 2022, I applied for and was granted several warrants for financial institutions who served the Moscow, Idaho region. Forensic account redacted with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I don't think we need to read this, but assisted in financial records, and they wanted to preserve those. And they were for Ethan, Maddie, Xana, Kaylee. I don't know who this L is. I don't know who they refer to as L. And then Bethany, Dylan, I don't know who the other people are. I think there's just the warrant was served. I think I read this. Yeah. Okay. Some of these are like just kind of redundant, but okay. So this is Brian's tender account. I did want to go through. There was some stuff. I think maybe not. We'll look. On January 24th, 2023, I applied for a warrant. So he applied for the warrant on January 25th. The warrant was granted. And it says later that day, I received a call from redacted customer representative for Match Group. They informed me that they located a previous account linked to email and it's redacted. So I'm assuming that's one of Brian's emails. However, no further information was available as the account was deleted. I requested any and all information available for the deleted account. On January 30th, 2023, I received an email from Tinder stating the data request pursuant to the warrant was available to download. Okay. In reviewing the contents, I found several unique identifiers associated with, redacted, associated with this email address. These UIDs were also associated with the phone number of, and I wonder if that's his phone number. I don't know. The UIDs were as follows. It doesn't tell us. But these were like all, I guess, separate accounts, it seems like, that this person had. User accounts, like user IDs. That's what I'm like, that UIDs is what I feel like is like user IDs. And I mean, this looks like a good amount. I mean, this is a lot of darkening. So is he going under there? Like, I'm wondering if Coburg's was like going under like alter egos, like aliases or whatever you call them. Not like alter egos, but like aliases. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe he wanted his name to be Jack Smith. And he's like, I'm going to go in as Jack Smith. I don't know. Did it, Maga Mama? I can't think of anybody with the name L. But it's like on the documents a lot. I try to read the names if I know who they are. For sure, if I know who they are. And then this one's another one. This is for Mogan. So this is for Maddie. And it says on December 22nd, I applied and was granted the warrant for user subscriber information for Maddie Mogan's Tinder account using the following identifiers. And then they have like, hers is really like boxed out. I mean, I guess it could be like, yeah, different username. That's what I thought, Jules. But how many usernames do you need? I got on Tinder. I was on Tinder. That's how I met Vincent. I got on there like for like a week and then I met him. So I got lucky. But I mean, that's a lot of different usernames, right? They said there's no possibility that he's Papa Roger. I have like every screenshot, and then there was a chart that was like had Brian's words compared to Papa's words, and like that I had all kinds of stuff ready to show you guys about Papa Roger because I didn't really know. I really wasn't I was on the fence. I was like, and usually I'm like, heck no, that's not them. But this one I was on the fence. I really was. Okay, thank you, Ashley. Why have to figure out her name? What I do, Tom? What did I do? That's true. I have multiple accounts actually on TikTok. I have 3. I have one for my business. I have one for my second channel. Unfiltered. Go over there and follow me. I have like 6 followers. Literally. Then I have my TitaniumBuilt one. Go over there and follow the TitaniumBuilt one if you want to. Okay. So this is a arrest warrant and arrest of Coburger. And it just says, you know, they apply based off of the course of this investigation. I applied for arrest warrant for Brian C. Coburger, inmate number, 163214. Magistrate Judge Marshall signed the warrant on 12/29/2022. Man, coming into the new year in jail, that sucks. Previous search warrants and information led investigators to believe Coburger left Pullman, Washington, and returned to his parents' home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Sergeant Gilbertson and I flew to Pennsylvania on 12/29/22 and met with the Pennsylvania State Police and FBI personnel there. At approximately 100 hours on 12/30/2022, the PSP CERT team conducted an operation at, I'm assuming, his parents' house and took Kohlberger into custody based off of the warrant signed by Judge Marshall. Kohlberger was taken to a nearby PSP barracks where Sergeant Gilbertson and I interviewed him for approximately 45 minutes. And then to see Sergeant Gilbertson report on the interview for full details, and we'll probably find that, I don't know if we find that in this pile of documents. I think it's probably in the next pile. But it just says the warrant was served to Kohlberger upon his extradition back to Idaho and his booking into the Latah County Jail. Okay. I'm going to put it on this. Why is this not highlighted? Oh, it was only highlighted there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to exit out some of these really fast. And I'm going to let my dog in because I knew she was going to do this. She's just sitting at the door. I can hear her. So, okay, I'm going to start reading this though, as I'm letting her in. I think I could do that. Let's see. Actually, let me put the chat down there. Okay. So this is going to be Coburger information and cell phone search warrants. Let me grab her real quick, actually. Oh, can I grab her? Hey, come in. Hurry up. Get in your chair. Love you. Thank you. Come on in. As part of the investigation, an extensive search commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvas was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvas was to obtain, I'm going to do it like this, to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in the effort to locate the suspects or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. So everyone's reviewing the footage. They got everyone reviewing it. You know who didn't review the footage? Ann Taylor. She said she didn't have enough time to review all of it. It's craziness. We would have reviewed it all. We are going to review it all. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan hereafter suspect vehicle 1 was observed traveling westbound in the, what is that, 18, I forget, block of Indian Hills. I forget. We used to know that. In Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared the vehicle had fog lights on the lower portion of the front bumper based off the video obtained from the redacted located at redacted. This was the video which captures suspect vehicle 1 crossing South Main Street from Steiner Avenue to Lauder Avenue at approximately 3:28 a.m. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the King Road residence and then leaves via Walenta Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 52, or wait, I don't know, it's like 500 Queen Road, I think, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. I don't know what he was doing there. That was just not smart. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Like I said, where's the cops at whenever we needed them, because like he's been pulled over so many times. It might have deterred him. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the area at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Okay. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by 1 or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles that he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. So after reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Well, he really got that forensic examiner. People weren't really happy with him. They were like, "What? Oh my God, I got the year wrong." Can't be doing that. Oh my gosh. Wow, Ladybug. At Walmart. She said the Hubs came home and said there's a bunch of stabbings in our Traverse City Walmart. JLR has a video out on YouTube. He says 7 people stabbed. Hubs said 11 deceased. Be careful, y'all. That's why I don't go to Walmart. You won't catch me on Walmart. Catch me on. Catch me anywhere but. We've had 2 shootings in ours, and we live in a very safe town. Remember the Christmas time? No. With it, what? With a folding pocket knife? Oh my goodness. Sidebar. Who does that? No, we have this Target, we have a Walmart. I mean, it's like literally, I think the Target's closer. So I'm just like, I'm going to Target. I'm not playing at Target anymore either. Man, man, that's crazy. I'm sorry, guys. That's crazy. Let me know, and we'll look it up here in a minute. We'll look it up after we're done. Oh, they got the guy. That's good. But again, because he's doing it with a pocket knife. Oh my good gosh. Hey, Avery. I will stick to my grocery delivery. Yeah, right. I know. I hear you there. I should start doing that grocery delivery. That sounds smart. Then it's like not as hard to, because you go there and you see food and then you want to buy it all. Like it's just, I come home with a bunch of snacks. Nothing of substance. Okay. So then investigators were given access to video footage at the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that approximately 2:53 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of a white Elantra, known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington towards State Route 270. State Route 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. So really got that nailed down right there. You were so close. 2014, 2016. Wasn't it 2015? I think it was. Yeah. It just, So you were so close. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. I want to see that if we can. I hope we can get that footage. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at redacted Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed traveling north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Route 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29th, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tinago queried white Elantras register at WSU. As a result of the query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate. This vehicle was registered to Brian Koberger. Hereafter, Koberger vehicle. And then it says, residing at, and he was, I forget his address, Steptoe Apartments, Pullman, Washington. It's approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Elantras and located a 2015 white Elantra at Redacted in Pullman in the parking lot. Redacted is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. I guess that's probably a Steptoe, but Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohlberger with a Washington tag. So now it has a Washington tag. When was the first time it was ran? 25th? Right. So on the 25th, he had a Pennsylvania tag. That doesn't make any sense. Because this is a Washington tag. I don't know. It's the same day, though. I don't know. Upon receipt of this information, I reviewed Kohlberger's Washington state driver's license information and photographed via a driver's license query for that name. This license indicates that Kohlberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185. Additionally, the photograph of Kohlberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohlberger's physical description is consistent with the description the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke's body cam and reports, show that on August 21st, 2022, Brian Kohlberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho by Corporal Duke. At the time, Kohlberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate redacted, which was set to expire on November 30th, 2022. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohlberger provided his phone number as redacted here after the 8458 phone as a cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. On October 14th, 2022, Brian Kohlberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohlberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate, and it's redacted. Yeah, he weighed 185. He don't weigh that no more. He don't weigh that. He don't weigh that no more. He probably weighs, I don't know, 150, 140 with his height. He's small. Like, he was small. I mean, he just looks deathly. I mean, but the God giveth and God taketh away. Okay, Ladybug, be careful. Don't go to Walmart. Listen to me over here making jokes. I'm terrible. On November 18th, according to the Washington State licensing, Kohlberger registered his 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. And I don't necessarily know if the license plate changing out had anything to do with the murder. Like, I don't know if he necessarily was like, I'm going to do it before I change my license plate over. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, he had to get a new plate anyway. It was time. He was supposed to get I think they said that you live there like 6 months or 3 months and you're supposed to get your plates changed over. And he had been there for like a while. So like 6 months. So he needed to do that. It says, based on my experience and communications with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohlberger continued to drive the white Elantra as the vehicle was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Information provided by a query to a database. Kohlberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. It was later learned this query was a result of a traffic stop in Hancock County, Indiana, wherein Kohlberger was the driver of the white Elantra. His father was the passenger. Kohlberger was stopped again 9 minutes later in Hancock County and released without citation or further enforcement. Well, it doesn't say that, we told him to stop him. So On December 16th, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video obtained by the request of FBI agents in Pennsylvania showed Koberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The only visible occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Koberger. Koberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, namely an address which is inside the gated community where the footage was captured. I'll be sneaking up in the gated community. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Koberger was a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University, pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department. We learned that the fall 2022 semester was Koberger's first semester at WSU. Additionally, these same records indicated Koberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Koberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Koberger wrote in his essay he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Koberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Koberger was associated to both the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 and 5 a.m. Thanks, MBS. That's so sweet. We reached it. I reached my goal tonight. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You guys were really amazing. Thank you. That's so nice of you guys. So, wow. This is all about his phone data. So based on my training and experience and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of an investigation, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. Should have did it at your house. You should have turned power down at home. I mean, you shouldn't have done it, but you know. Why'd you take your phone? You want to help law enforcement collect technical data and analyze it. You think they weren't going to be able to do this without you or something? It's crazy to me. So, you know, most criminals, they say, hey, they either leave their phone at a different location or they turn their phone off prior to committing the crime. It says this is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them is in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Oh, thank you, Nick McNabb, for becoming a member. Thank you. Welcome in. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual will not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense at that particular day. It's like psychological stuff, you know, like you don't even think about it. You just have it on you. You're just cruising on by the house, you know. So on December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for the historical phone records between November 12th, 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for Koberger's phone. On December 23rd, they received the records from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Brian Koberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. So it was like a brand new phone line for him, which is kind of strange. Like, you're 28 and you're getting a new phone line. I don't know. Like, normally you have a phone. I don't know. I mean, it's not strange, but you know what I mean? Like, usually you have a phone line for a while, like same one. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey team. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST SA that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by the CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th to November 13th. So this is where his phone was traveling those 2 days. I needed a drink, sorry. On November 13th at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to, it looks like his address, but Pullman, Washington, here after the Kohlberger residence. So Steptoe Apartments. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, so just putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho, north of Genesee. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Washington, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. So he just went like the longest way possible, right? Thank you for gifting a membership, Nick McNabb. It's very nice of you. And look at that, MBS got it. Look at that. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. So he went the long way home at approximately 5:30 a.m. And I think that might be, but he was already home when he turned his phone back on, like pretty much home. What? I don't get it. The 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, inconsistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohlberger residence. Like, I would think that you would turn your phone back on if you needed like directions or something, right? Like if you were just like traveling and you're like, oh, I don't know how to get back home. Nope, not this guy. He said, we're just going to play with the cops a little bit, see if they can figure it out. They figured it out. It says the 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movement of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458's phone estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohlberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohlberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32. Gets in the shower. By 10:30, he's snapping that selfie. You know? He had things to do that day, I guess. And sleep wasn't one of them. Sleep wasn't one of them. It says, so, investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to cell tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Okay. Okay, so based on my training experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohlberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohlberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. Kohlberger would likely have information on how cellular data can be utilized in criminal investigations as part of his past studies. On December 23rd, I was granted a search warrant for Kohlberger's historical CSCL from June 23rd, 2022 to current. Prospective location information in a PIN register trap and trace to aid in efforts to determine if Kohlberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13th, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohlberger, as well as the location of Kohlberger. He wants to know everything. Us too. On December 23rd, pursuant to that search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was open and in June 2022. After consulting with CAS SA, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of these occasions, on August 21st, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources, providing coverage to the King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohlberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke, as mentioned above. The 8545, man, I've been saying this number too many times. 8548 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time frame. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the 8458 phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at, it's redacted, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef store located at redacted Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with the suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8458 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at redacted in Clarkston, Washington. A surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons show Kohlberger exit the white Elantra. So he gets to the Albertsons, he exits the white Elantra. At approximately 12:49 p.m., interior surveillance cameras show Kohlberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items. Oh, they didn't even ever give us the items at checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohlberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicate that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Washington. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. This is consistent with the 8458 phone being the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents. There comes the rain again. Wow. Can you guys hear that? It's loud. Sorry. On December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohlberger family residence located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho lab for testing. On December 28th, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash was the DNA profile obtained from the sheath. Says identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. At least 99.998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I requested an arrest warrant be issued for Brian C. Koberger, date of birth, November, whatever, 1994, for burglary at King 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first-degree murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. That was a lot. Where are we at? Okay, so let me put it on here. Okay, and we'll go through a couple more, and then I'll get to the I starred a couple of your messages. So receipt of NDAs and Lieutenant Mooney. Okay. Oh, this is just talking about the disaster. So this was the agreements between the disaster response team that they were going to go in and clean the houses and stuff. So yeah. Can you hear that rain? It is crazy. It's like makes me kind of nervous just because we've had tornadoes and stuff here before. But it's usually when it's calm, so it's cool. It says isolated thunderstorms. Oh, just for like a few minutes. It says till like 12. So that one we really didn't need to look at too much. This one. Oh, okay. I was like, what is this one? This one's Dropbox Koberger. It's Koberger's warrant for like what they found in his Dropbox. This is when he got the warrant, received the warrant. I'm just going to tell you what in reviewing it. So so he reviewed it. The account was created on March 5th, 2021, and it showed the last login date of March 9th, 2021. So we only had it for like 4 days. There was 3 files in the account data. 2 appeared to be associated with using the Dropbox service. The third was on an MP4 video titled Kids for Cash. This appears to be a movie released in 2013, and IMDb.com provides the following as an overview. Kids for Cash is a riveting look behind the notorious judicial scandal that rocked the nation. Beyond the millions paid and high-stakes corruption, Kids for Cash exposes a shocking American secret. In the wake of the shootings at Columbine, a small town celebrates a charismatic judge who is hell-bent on keeping kids in line until one parent dares to question the motives behind his brand of justice. The real-life thriller reveals the untold stories of the masterminds at the center of the scandal and the chilling aftermath of lives destroyed in the process, a stunning emotional roller coaster. Never seen it. It stopped raining, though. That was taking my mind off that for everything. So, okay. Just a movie, pretty much. I wonder if they found his song and when they found it. When did you guys find his song? Did you listen to his rap song? Did you like his rap song, guys? I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. So on February 2nd, Corporal Payne and myself responded to the storage area. They wanted to meet. They're meeting up with, I think, Ann Taylor. So it says, Ann Taylor Defense Counsel was granted permission to go through these items to see what counsel could be released back to the proper owners. Prior to Ms. Taylor being given a chance to look at these items, property belonging to Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee had already been released. MPD had also given Dylan back her belongings, but were able to get her to return them. So Ms. Taylor requested we set aside the following items. She wanted the items from Dylan's belongings, I guess. Handwritten note, pink and white blanket with red hearts, pink and white cloth, possible used as a curtain or decoration, black and white Vans shoes, red and white unknown brand shoes, black and white Converse shoes, items from the spare bedroom, So Adidas black and white short sleeve t-shirt, size small, green and pink coat. Unknown brand. The items above were placed in cardboard boxes and set aside for Miss Taylor. I wonder if she ever got those items tested. What did I mention, Pete? Oh, I need to go back. I need to go back and listen to that song again. See how it goes. I mean, I know like the words, but it was so bad. When I played it that one time, they copyright my freaking whole video for that 2-second song because of the background music. It was terrible background music too. I hope he hears this. 163214. Vehicle crash crossing crime scene. So the next one up is from Jason House. And I'm trying to see if this one we even need to read. Oh yeah, this is the one that crashed. Oh yeah, listen to this. When did this happen, right? Like when was there a crash in front of King Road and we didn't see it? We had all these people out there videotaping and we didn't see any of this. It says, at approximately 1700 hours, I responded to a single vehicle crash at 500 Queen Road. While parked in the parking lot of Queen Road, directly above the King Road crime scene, redacted, we're attempting to push redacted silver Nissan Versa off a frozen patch of the lot. While attempting to push the vehicle, it rolled forward off the patch of ice and down the embankment, crossing past the crime scene tape and striking a tree. We got a car in the crime scene. Approximately 20 feet from the house. 20 feet. That's not very far. They done hit a tree, almost hit the house. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. I don't remember seeing this on the news either. There's like a little gnat in here. I can see it. I'm going to, oh, sorry. I just it was on my microphone. I didn't mean to hit the microphone. It's just like this little gnat. And he just comes alive when I turn these lights on. And then tonight when I turn them off, he'll be gone. And then he comes back alive. We had one of these when I was in the other room. This is a little gnat. Cleanest people in the world. But that little gnat, I'll have him every time. He'll get me. I think he likes they follow me every year. They're like, we're going inside with her. She's got food. Hurry up. She's got lights. So this is the release of the Chapin vehicles. Wow, it's really bad out there tonight. So this is just them saying that they met with Stacy and Jim and they released the vehicles to them. So it was the Ford Explorer and the Jeep Wrangler. Those were both Ethan's and his brother or sister's car. I'm not sure if it was his brothers or if it was his sisters. I think it was his sisters. And then the boys maybe shared the Jeep or something. Collection of Gonzalez's Apple Watch. So apparently, I'm just going to give you the gist on this. Kaylee's family was like, hey, you gave us some of her belongings back and we have an Apple Watch here. And they were like, oh, we could probably take that back because I could have evidence on it, which I don't know if it necessarily would if it wasn't on her at the time, right? But if it if it fell off of her and they picked it up and they put it in a box, that would be kind of a problem, you know? But so they just returned the watch so that they could do testing on it. But nothing came out of it that I've seen so far. So, okay, so this is a follow-up from a tip that they got. Oops, and this is from Brett Payne. Okay. The phone call was not recorded. The conversation's never recorded on these. I don't know. Why are we not recording our conversations? But they're not. But it says on February 16th, 2023, I was notified by Sergeant Blaker that Redacted had called requesting follow-up on a trip he provided during the investigation, a tip, sorry. It says, Redacted started by saying he lived in Moscow and had called in a tip early on in the investigation about seeing a vehicle drive by his house at approximately 4:25 to 4:30 on the morning of November 13th, 2022. What this car look like? I'm all ears. What? He told him he was out in front of his house at the time, placing items into his recycling and trash bins because he's just a recycler. It says he stated he was wearing a headlamp at the time because it was dark and his front house lights were not on. Why didn't you just turn on the front house lights? That is so weird to be walking around with the light on your head. You know what I mean? That's a little weird for me. But he stated there was only one street light in the area at the corner of his property. He stated he had been in and out of his house several times. On the last of these times, he told me he heard a vehicle approaching his home from the north. Conestoga Drive runs north and south in this area, headed towards West Palouse River Drive. He was adamant he could not swear to what type of vehicle he saw. However, he remembered seeing the headlights and taillights. He described the taillights as being teardrop shaped and about waist high. The only thing he remembered about the headlights was that they were lower to the ground than the taillights. He also told me the vehicle was going faster than usual, but did not seem to be driving erratically or dangerously. He also told me he thought at the time the vehicle may have been a dark SUV. Well, okay, that's not Kohlberger, but based this only off the taillight height and the fact he could not see the vehicle itself due to lighting. How can you not see a vehicle due to lighting? Do they not have their headlights on? Even if there's only one light, you would think that you could see a car. I think it is, Chris. I think it is a thing there. I'm about to get me a headlamp. Yeah, we read that earlier, Felicia. Like right when we came on, I was like, man, he's always trying to be relevant. He is always trying to be relevant. He didn't succeed. Even though you put your little smiley faces everywhere. No one cared about them, apparently. I mean, we cared about the victims, but we didn't care about you. No, but I wanted to. I was going to play that actually, but I didn't. Ash, I wanted to see it. Let's see. This is for the Google warrant. Oh, so this is him and they're examining the Google Play library associated with the account. And they found just Hinge dating app. It's called Hinge. Never heard of it, but it's called Meet People. Hinge dating app. And then Bumble dating. So maybe he's looking for a friend on Bumble, though. You never know. Maybe he's looking for a friend. These will probably be like the most boringest ones out, like all the documents, but they're not like that boring. But you know what I mean? Like they're like, I don't know. There's more that are like that towards the end that are like he's in the jail talking and stuff, and it's like, what are you talking about? But I'm waiting to get there with y'all. So I'm waiting to get there with you guys. I'm trying not to skip ahead. I haven't been listening to anything either. I wasn't. I've been trying not to. I listened to something for like 20 minutes today, like on law and crime, and that was it. So it says I was listening to the tip line phone calls, and a tip from redacted from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania was left on February 16th at 06:49 hours. In the tip, redacted stated her brother, redacted used to be friends with Brian Kohlberger when they were in high school. Is this Bill's friend? Is this Bill's sister? Redacted stated she felt it would be in our best interest to talk to her brothers about it. I called redacted and she confirmed her brother redacted and redacted were friends with Brian in high school, and Brian has been in her mother's house during that time period. Redacted was not sure if it would be very helpful or not for us to talk to redacted, but wanted us to know about this. I asked her if her brother redacted would talk to us as well. She told me she was not sure, but she would reach out to him to see if he would call us. I was able to locate info on redacted on TLO. I used this info to find info on redacted and redacted. I will provide this information to Corporal Payne as to be provided to the FBI in Pennsylvania so they can reach out for potential interview. I thought that I only read that because I thought that was the one where it said it wasn't substantiated, but I guess that wasn't it. So then the next one is just like another Google warrant. everybody that lived at the house, and then some. And then they wanted the warrants for information on the 1122 King Road. These are all just like different names that they could be under. And then this one I applied for was granted for a warrant to serve Google for information for these in relation to Koberger. But then at the bottom it says it including like new history was going to be collected. So these are just redundant. But that's what they were going to try to see if he had Googled any of this stuff, I guess. So that's why I had it highlighted. And then Brian Kohlberger's US debit card. So he used his debit card, it looks like from October till like right before the murders. And then after that, no more debit card usage. Maybe he ran out of money on that card. I don't know. But a majority of the items purchased were food items, and this is at Walmart. On 11/7/2022, Kohlberger purchased a beanie hat, but there was no description of the hat. I spoke with an employee from Walmart, and he stated at the time he met with Detective Schwecke, they were unable to locate the details of the exact beanie which Kohlberger purchased. I would hate that. On 12/1, Kohlberger purchased utility clothes, right? Utility clothes. I'm thinking the Dickies, right? The Dickies. No. I spoke with an employee from Walmart who told me this item was a 9-pack hand towels. Does that mean utility cloths or clothes? I guess it means cloths. I'm just saying. I'm just saying how I would spell it. But yeah, that makes no sense to me. But which were 2 shades of gray. There was nothing else of interest listed in the above receipts. Like the stuff that I read in here. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head. I might have went to trial. I mean, and just tested my luck because like. I thought there would be a lot more. Like I don't know. I thought there'd be like a lot more. Like I know we're not all the way through. We still have like, another 100 or something to go through, but still like it's just crazy. Not tonight, of course. We'll probably be done here soon. I wanted to go through this one with you guys. It's really big. We might have to wait. Maybe we can do the stripper one first after this one. So this person, they received an email. And it says, which stated Kohlberger attended PhD courses at Oklahoma State University. Who are you? She added, she met Kohlberger during this time, and Kohlberger had befriended a professor named Redacted who gave Kohlberger a K-bar knife. So, yeah, they just knew that this was a bunch of crap. It says, upon further investigation, it was learned, because like she writes a lot, and had reported 36, that this person had reported 36 tips to the FBI over the past several years. In addition, there is no current information to support Kohlberger ever attended Oklahoma State University. Oh my good Lord. But we'll go over this one before we stop, because this one was kind of funny. It's like, oh, now he's at the strip club. Maybe he was. Hey, maybe he was not. Maybe that's where that $2 bill came from. Because I'm telling you, that's where you get them. So interview number 157. That's like always the interview number. On Friday, March 3rd, 2023, I spoke to VH on the phone, referenced a tip she reported to the tip line. I did not record our conversation. She originally reported the tip in January of 2023 and stated she had an encounter with someone she thought was Kohlberger. I called Redacted and spoke to her about the tip. She told me she was working as a dancer at the club, and during the 2018-2019 timeframe is a 2-hour drive from Redacted, Pennsylvania. Hoffer stated she was unsure which of the 2 years the encounter took place. She stated she came into work on what she described as a slow day and noticed only one man seated next to the stage alone. Stated she got on stage and began her dance when she noticed the man seemed to be talking to himself. She stated the man made her feel uneasy, but she continued her dance. She told me during the dance she heard the man state something about wanting to kill people. She told me she thought she misheard the man, so she did not acknowledge the statement until he said it again. She said she could not remember exactly what the man said, but thought it was something to the effect of wanting to kill people. Honey, you should know exactly what he said. Redacted told me she engaged with the man after the second comment, thinking he was trying to get attention. I am not that woman. I would be like, you weirdo, what are you talking about? I'm sorry. You want to kill people? What? Say, I would cut the music. I would cut the music, cut the dance, cut the lights. Like, what? I mean, I guess they're just free there, you know, they don't care. I do love me a good strip club, though. It's been a long time, though, since I've been to one. My brother took me one when I turned 18. I was like, this is fun. Me and my brother, my sister-in-law, and my friend. It was fun. It was funny. So Redacted told me she engaged, okay, because she wanted to get attention. He just wants his attention. She told me she jokingly asked the man who he was going to kill, to which he replied something to the effect of whoever I want. Well, all right. Get back on stage, Destiny. Redacted completed her dance and left the stage. Redacted told me the conversation was strange enough. She remembered telling the bouncers at the club to keep an eye on the man, who she said sat and watched the other dancers for some time. Eventually, she told me she offered the man a private dance as he was the only patron in the club. Could you imagine? He's just sitting there watching the other girls, and she's like, he's thinking, this girl already heard me say I want to kill people like 5 times, and she keeps coming back. She wants to give me a private dance now. I mean, he had to have some money or something on him, because she's on the dance. She's on the pole, right? She is safe on the pole. You got to be 6 feet from the dancer on the pole. She's safe there. She's safe. The bouncers will get them. And then he says, I want to kill people. And then he says it again. She's like, I didn't think I heard him the first time, but then I heard him the second time. And then I just finished my dance. And then I got off the pole where she was, could have went like wherever out of his reach to safety. And then she goes up to him and says, you want a private dance? Who do you want to kill? Whoever I want. And then she asked him for the private dance. Oh my good golly. Redacted told me she did not think about the encounter until she saw Kohlberger's picture on TV upon his arrest. So this guy that came in just said randomly like 5 times wants to kill people. It never occurred to you, even though there's people that were killed around you. But she told me that she was fairly certain it was Kohlberger. That was the man encountered in the club that day. Oof. She said she reiterated that she was fairly certain it was Kohlberger. I would love to see the video if they ever had that. . 163-214. Yeah. I clocked the fuck out. I know that's her job, but I couldn't do it. That's why I have so much. I have respect for dancers, man. I really do, because they have like balls of steel. You know what I mean? They really do. They really do. And they're nice. They're nice people. They really are. Like I said, been to a couple in my day. Been to a couple. Really, Micro? So did you work in a club? Because I'm telling you, that's where the $2 bills come from. And I'm wondering how Xana got one. Maybe they went to the club. But thinking back on it now, I'm like, my mom used to get those for tips at work. And then she'd bring them home for me and be like, look at these. Really, Ashley? She made a lot. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Micro. Hey, Bonnie. Oh, Felicia, if I did that to Vincent, he would die. He would die. Oh my gosh, he would run off the stage. He wouldn't go on the stage. And now I want to do that. Do you get $2 tips? MBSC, I haven't seen any in forever. I haven't been a bartender though in so long. And I didn't get them when I worked at Red Lobster. It was like my last job that was in food. But my mom used to get them when she worked as a server, and she'd bring them home to me. And then, of course, I'd probably like spend them after a little while, like, couldn't handle it. But I remember I did have a $2 bill for like ever ago. And the crazy thing about this case is there was a guy that knows Koberger. They went to school or something together. And I told him, he said, you're going to owe me $10,000 when, Koberger is exonerated or set free. And I said, no, I think he's guilty and we'll double that to 20. I said, but when you give me my money, I want it in $2 bills. So that's why when we were reading the documents the other night and it said something about $2 bill, I was like really shocked because I was like, this is weird. Like $2 bills are not very popular, Oh, see, MBS, that's really cool. Now I want one. My hubby told me I wasn't allowed to work at the club. Shoot, times are getting tough. I might be at the club before we know it. Yeah. Yeah, Bozaroo. Yeah. But and I've never really heard of anyone using a $2 bill for that either. It's probably because the kids probably didn't have any cash on them because they have cards or whatever. They use cards. Oh no, Jack, that sucks. Chad said I could pass as a male dancer. I like bartending. I thought it was fun. No one taught me though. So my first time making a Long Island, that was fun. I put like a quarter of each shot in there instead of like whatever it is, like a 2-second pour or a 1-second pour, whatever it is, like a splash. I did it. I did this lady dirty, but I did her great. She loved me, but I couldn't even get the Coke on top. I'm like, where's the Coke go? Because like all the liquor, no one taught me. So she got really drunk that day. Thanks, Amber. Thank you. We do have a good conversation. And we always have a good conversation after the live's over too. We just sit here usually and chit chat for a minute before I get off here. But yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, all those things. Hopefully you guys had a good Saturday. We went to eat at Bibby Bop. That's like one of our favorite restaurants, but I'm starting not to love it as much anymore. I don't know. It's okay. And then it's like good for like fast food, like it's not like fast, but it's like kind of like a Chipotle, but rice and stuff instead. And then we went over to the mall. So I have to get my niece a baby shower gift. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. But I'll be on tomorrow evening with you guys. And we'll go over some more of the documents. I might actually come on tomorrow during the day, but I'm not sure. And then I'll watch the video and then I will put it on after I can watch it. And I want to look over the fundraiser before I post that too, just so I can look over stuff. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being members. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for just being here. Thank you for hitting the like. Thank you for becoming a subscriber, all the things. It really does help the channel and you guys are really doing a good job with helping me. So I appreciate you guys, but thank you guys so much. I'll be back tomorrow. I know we're getting into juicier documents, like, cause I have some up. One of them is like Reddit and it's like different postings that he was going to, and you can actually like copy and paste the URL and post it in there. So we'll do that. And then I know that when he went into jail, he was talking. So I want to go over some stuff on that too. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys then and have a wonderful evening. Bye guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out.